Hello folks, this is Sula once again. Welcome to another video for our Teamfight Tactics. This is taken from a normal game that I was playing, and it was just such an unusual game that I wanted to cast it. In this game, we're going to be looking at the Vanguard trait. Yes, Vanguard, the trait that provides additional armor, not something that generally is used to build team compositions in Teamfight Tactics. And I wasn't planning on building a team around this either, and in fact was only putting a lot of Vanguard champions in because I was trying to fulfill one of the requirements to get the additional points for the TFT season pass. So let me back up and explain what I mean a little bit more for that. So if you've played Teamfight Tactics in set 4 or in some of the earlier sets, you're probably familiar with the fact that the League of Legends client will give you additional pass points if you fulfill certain requirements. They have different ones that pop up on a weekly basis. Sometimes it'll be like win 5 games or do 10,000 damage. Probably much higher than that. I'm just spitballing here. But like there's different ways that will give you more points towards unlocking all those various pass rewards. There are also some that are like season long that aren't just for one particular patch but kind of last for the whole season. And well, there are some of the ones that fell into that category were ones that were really difficult to achieve. For example, I still hadn't, even after playing a whole bunch of games across set 4, I still hadn't accomplished the goal of getting us running a Spirit 4 team composition or running a Vanguard 6 team composition. I mean, like, that's just because those things aren't really in the meta right now. Who would run a Vanguard 6 team composition? Who would run, like, Spirit 4? Like these are just not team compositions that people play in the current makeup of League of Legends. So I still had a couple of these left over. And in this particular game, I'm going to end up chasing after the Vanguard 6, one of those requirements, just because, not because I thought it was good, not because it was something that I thought would be strong to play, but just because it was something that would unlock, I think it's like 200 points towards the pass. And the reason why that was useful is because I had gone ahead, I mentioned this in a previous video, had gone ahead and purchased the pass, and I was trying to unlock those additional little legends that you get when everything else is unlocked. They're pretty expensive in terms of the pass points, and so I was like, all right, well, normal game, we'll go for Vanguard 6 because it ultimately isn't, super critical in this game if things go horribly wrong, and try to unlock that. But it does mean I'm going to be playing a ton of Vanguard in this particular game. All right, so as far as early game stuff that's gone, let's focus on the actual gameplay here. I had gone ahead and grabbed the Garen with the chain vest off the initial carousel. As far as what items dropped, I'm able to make a locket out of that, and I figured that was the best thing that I could do. I was looking to potentially play into Warlords there. I found that Vi, from one of the minion round drops, I was like, oh, cool, if I find like a Nidalee or a Jarvan here, maybe I can play Warlords, but ends up not happening. Instead, I grabbed the Wukong for early Vanguard, and along with the Vayne and the Teemo, I have 2 Sharpshooter, 2 Vanguard. I make use of the needlessly large rod that dropped on the minion rounds to make a locket, and that'll make me, not, I wouldn't say strong or anything, but at least not like a total joke, particularly in comparison to people who don't use their items, like the person I was just up against here. That's going to allow me to win that initial round here, although with no Chosen appearing yet, it's not going to make me super strong. I am guaranteed to get a Chosen appearing here on 2-2, so let's go ahead and see what pops up. And right here, it's an Elderwood Maokai, which is not something that's really useful for this team composition. I had been thinking of maybe grabbing a whole bunch of Brawler champions and playing Brawlers. One of the other ones of those pass things that I haven't picked up yet is just for playing 6 Brawlers. 6 Brawlers isn't even like as much of a meme type thing. 6 Brawlers is actually pretty decent for the early game. But this is an Elderwood Maokai, not a Brawler Maokai, and I already passed up a whole bunch of Brawlers, and now I'm in like this pseudo Warlord composition with Vanguard and Sharpshooters, and generally you play Vanguard or you play Brawlers, you don't play both. If you play Vanguard and Brawlers, then you're tanky, but you don't have any damage, so it's not really terribly useful here. So I'm going to pass that up. Just not something that's going to fit for this game, and instead we're going to end up in Vanguard because this is pre-recorded footage and I can already tell you where this team comp is going to be heading down the road. All right, so what am I looking for right now? Well, I picked up the Yuumi that appeared because Yuumi could give me a spirit option, and then here I get the Chosen that actually is going to be what this game is revolved around. I find the Wukong chosen with Vanguard. This is not considered to be a very good chosen at all. If you're going to grab Wukong as a chosen, you would typically go ahead and grab a divine version of Wukong, which is seen to be the stronger of the two. But this was when I was like, okay, well, you know what? I can use this round. I can use this game to just play for. I can use this game to play for that Vanguard 6, and that'll be the goal. We're going to try to get to Vanguard 6 in this game. I only have to run it for one round. If I run Vanguard 6 for one round, I'll get those additional TFT pass points. But it does mean in the near future, I'm just going to have to stack up lots and lots of Vanguard champions. And that's the way that we're going to look to play this one. I am not expecting this to be good. I want to make this very clear. I don't expect this to be very good at all, but we'll just, get the Vanguard champs and see what happens and go from there. All right, well, since the Wukong is a Vanguard chosen, he counts as 2 copies of a Vanguard unit. So if I can find one other Vanguard, we'll be able to get to Vanguard 4. We also have a carousel here, so I am last to pick because I've won all of the rounds this far. So, like I said, I do not have carousel priority here. And we'll... Actually, no, wait a minute. I win the tiebreaker. There's 3 of us that all have 100 health, and apparently I win the tiebreak, so I get to go 1 round early, so I'll get to pick something else. And I had a couple different thoughts about what I wanted, but when I saw the spatula was still there, I was like, I'll grab the spatula. That can be used for all sorts of useful stuff. To get a spatula this early gives me a lot of different options. And it also even gives me the option to make a Vanguard spatula, which would be helpful in pushing towards getting Vanguard 6. I wouldn't say that that's good, again, but it's not bad either. It'll at least be useful. All right, so since I have the Teemo, I'm going to go ahead and put in the Kindred. That will make Spirit, give everybody a little bit of additional attack speed. And my comp is reasonably tanky, but don't really have that much damage, so Kindred for extra damage is good too. I am highlighting the Vanguard trait there. I was highlighting it in-game because I was trying to refresh my memory on who all of the Vanguard champions are. But it's also useful for this video. You can see what Vanguard does is Vanguard champions get bonus armor. Vanguard 2 is 120 armor. Vanguard 4 is 300 armor. And Vanguard 6, I believe, is 700 armor. Now you might say, well, hey, that sounds really good. Why wouldn't why aren't there any team comps that are built around doing this, or at least like standard team comps? Why aren't there any that do this? And the basic reason is you just don't want to tie up that many slots on, 750 armor for Vanguard 6. You just don't want to tie up that many slots on being tanky. Keep in mind that there's a lot of different damage types. Having 700 armor or whatever is great against physical damage, but it doesn't do anything against magic damage. And it doesn't do anything against true damage either. And there's a fair amount of true damage here in set 4. Just stuff that immediately comes to mind. You have Vein's Silver Bolts, that's a form of true damage. Sunfire Cape, the burn effect, that's true damage. You have Nunu eating people, that's a form of true damage, etc. So, the armor doesn't do anything against magic damage, and it doesn't do anything against those sources of true damage either. So that's why you typically don't see people running like lots and lots of Vanguard champions. It's pretty rare to see anyone even go to Vanguard 4, just because you usually don't get that much benefit from running all of those Vanguard champs, and they are mostly tanky champions who don't really do damage. But that said, it is useful when you're up against a mostly physical damage team comp, and Vanguard is good in the early game specifically because in the early game most damage is physical. Most champions are just using their auto attacks and not relying on their skills as much. So in the early game, Vanguard tends to be better than in the late game, where there's, as I said, a lot more magic damage and a lot more true damage. So like I said, I didn't think that what I had was especially strong, but for one reason or another, I do win streak and win every round, win all 5 rounds. So I'm off to a great economic start, and that's good news for me. One thing that I'm missing, though, is I still haven't found another Vanguard champ. I got the Garen, and then I've got the chosen Wukong, but Thresh hasn't shown up yet, who's the one I'm kind of looking for, because Thresh will give me Dusk and Vanguard 4. And I also haven't seen any of the other early Vanguard. The other early Vanguard option would be Hecarim, who I'd also snap up if I could find him, but haven't seen Hecarim, haven't seen Thresh. Also haven't gotten... I also have a fair number of pairs, right? I have 2 out of 3 Veins, 2 out of 3 Teemos, 2 out of 3 Kindreds. It certainly would be nice if I could grab some additional members of that. But hey, look, we got a Chain Vest, and that means that I can actually make a Vanguard spatula, and I'm thinking I'm going to do that because why not? We're playing Vanguards in this game. Why not? Let's go ahead and do that, shall we? So I clear the bench to make a little bit more money, and then Yeah, Spatula plus the Chain Vest is Vanguard's Cuirass. So now I need a unit to put it on. And I was like, who could I put it on? Well, I don't mind making this item because I can always sell the unit that's wearing it and then replace him with someone else. I was like, out of the units I have, the one that makes the most sense is this Xinjiao that's just sitting there. So I'm going to go ahead and level to 6 because I'm on the long winning streak here. I'll go ahead and do that. And then I'll put this on Xinjiao, and that gets me to Vanguard 4. So this means that Xinjiao is going to start the fight with the Vanguard trait, and he's going to start the fight with 300 armor because we have Vanguard 4. And that's pretty interesting because the way Xinjiao works is every time he uses his ultimate, he gets additional armor and magic resistance. So he's going to be really tanky as these fights go on. Now, that's not to say he's necessarily going to do a lot of damage, but he is going to be tanky with having that. Like, can you see the Galio hitting him and just doing no damage at all? So anyone who does physical damage is not going to do much of anything. So now we're up against this Zed, and Zed is hitting on the Vanguards, and Zed is just doing nothing because, yeah, 300 armor. That is a lot of armor. I think that's like a 70% damage reduction from physical damage, something like that. Then I find the Thresh, and I'm actually going to take out the Xinjiao, even though he's got that Vanguard spatula item, because I think Thresh is a little bit better to have in here because he's going to make Dusk as well as getting me the Vanguard 4. So yep, got that item on the bench. Now what I'm looking for is I want to find Hecarim. If I can find Hecarim at level 7, I'll put in Hecarim plus the Xinjiao, and then that'll be enough to make Vanguard 6 for that 750 armor, which is just bonkers. Here, I finally hit the one player who's AFK in the lobby. So this person, just for whatever reason, not actually here. I'm actually probably the last person in the lobby to hit this person because there are 7 of us, and this is the 7th round. So maybe someone's gotten unlucky and hasn't hit this comp yet. But yeah, it's a normal game. Sometimes people do stuff like this, and it is what it is. It does mean that I'm not going to get 8th in this game, that's for sure. But I get another round, another win, and now I've won 7 rounds in a row. I also spot the Jarvan here, so this also now gives me a Warlord option. When I get to level 7, I could also then look to put in Jarvan and the Xinjiao if I wanted to get in Warlord, so that's also a possibility. I'm also kind of hoping that I might find Nidalee because that would also make it easy to play Warlord. I'm a little surprised I haven't found any Nidalees yet, but just hasn't shown up yet for whatever reason. That said, I am getting a lot of value out of the Vayne because I'm getting Dusk from Vayne, and I'm also getting a lot of value out of the Teemo because I'm getting Spirit from Teemo plus Kindred, so maybe not worthwhile to replace them and play Warlord anyway, but I'm going to grab the Jarvan and just hold it because it gives me another option. As far as what I'm finding here. And it doesn't cost too much gold to do that. Jarvan's only cost 2 cost champion. All right, well, we're up against a Duelist comp, and hey, guess what? Duelist comp's not great against the Vanguard because they're all physical except for Callista's damage, and I've got the Vanguard. Now, the scary thing is that the Yasuo does have a Last Whisper, so can cut through the armor with that Last Whisper, but the rest of the comp wasn't really doing a whole lot, and I win another close round. I'm legitimately shocked that I haven't lost a round yet because I really don't feel like what I have is that good, but it continues to win round after round. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll take it and just keep going here. Keep that win streak going. It's pumping a lot of extra income into my pockets. Now I've got a Giant's Belt and I also have a Brawler's Glove on the bench. So I have to look to try to make some kind of item with these. And out of the different possibilities, I believe that I go for the Yuumi here, if I remember correctly. Yep, I grabbed the Yuumi. And the reason for that is I thought, well, I can just go ahead and make double Brawler's Gloves. I'll make a Thief's Glove. That'll be useful. I can just toss that on somebody. It was more useful, I think, than the Jeweled Gauntlet, although Jeweled Gauntlet is a good Kindred item, so that was another possibility. Maybe I should have done that. If I'd known I was about to make Kindred 2-star, I might have gone with the Jeweled Gauntlet, but instead, Thief's Glove, and like I said, Thief's Glove will have usefulness kind of throughout this match too. So if you're thinking about what I'm lacking here, I really don't have a carry right now. Like, I guess it's Kindred. I suppose Kindred's doing the most damage, but I really don't have that. I have kind of a bunch of tanky boys, and then I've got like a 1-star Vayne and a 1-star Teemo, and then now the 2-star Kindred, but like I said, I don't really have a reliable damage source, and that's why I keep expecting this team comp to kind of fall apart as the game goes on, because I don't have that reliable source of damage. But up against a Cultist team comp here, the one source of magic damage is the Eve, and we kill off the Eve before she can get her ult off. And the rest of the comp just doesn't really do a whole lot. I guess TF also does magic damage with his wild cards, but like, if you look at that team, they really barely scratched us. Like, the Galio did absolutely nothing, because the Galio's attacks are physical damage. And now here, I'm all about to hit level 7. I was like, all right, well, I'll just level to 7 because it doesn't cost me much of anything to do that. And then I'm going to take out the Vayne, and I'm going to put in the I'm going to take out the Vayne and put in the Jarvan. Kind of an interesting move here. This drops Dusk. It also drops the Sharpshooter trait, but I'm really not playing through Sharpshooter. Like, Teemo and Vayne are not really doing a whole lot. Teemo gets almost all of his damage from his Poison Dart. He's not really getting a lot from his auto attacks right now, with no items and only being 1-starred. So I think it's actually better to make the Warlord trait, because that's going to buff up the Jarvan, and especially it's going to buff up the Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao's going to get extra health, and like, look how long Xin Zhao's tanking here. Zed is hitting him the entire fight, and he's still not dying. So as long as he stays alive, Zed can't go ahead and, steal all of his attack damage. And, Zed just spends the whole fight hitting Wardens. I'm thinking this is set 2. Zed just spends the whole fight hitting Vanguard champions and doesn't really do anything. So, yeah, another fight won. That's 10. That's all of Stage 2 and all of Stage 3. And I don't really know how this has happened thus far. Is stacking Vanguard champs actually kind of good for the early game? I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. Either these comps I'm hitting are just really weak, or maybe this comp is not as bad as I thought it was. Like I said, I still don't feel like what I have is very good, but it's working thus far. And by the way, this is really bizarre. Look, I'm going to get a Xin Zhao, and then another Xin Zhao, and then another Xin Zhao. What the heck? Somehow I got, 3 Xin Zhaos there? And then I roll, and then I get another one. I was like, what the heck? I have 6 of them now? Anyway, the reason why I was rolling is I just wanted to play 6 Vanguards. I just want to play this, and then afterwards I can sell those stupid Wukong Chosen. I don't really want to keep running Wukong Chosen. I think I can make something better, find something better than this. But I have to play 6 Vanguard for at least 1 round in order to get that pass XP bonus or whatever it's called. So this round is 6 Vanguard, 750 armor on the Vanguard champs. So what I want you to do is watch, first of all, the enemy champs that are hitting someone who has the Vanguard trait. They just literally do nothing. I mean, Katarina gets off a good ult, but all of the other physical damage just does nothing, because we have like 90% damage reduction from physical damage. And now watch the damage chart here on the right. Look at that. It's all blue damage for the other team. Blue damage is magic damage. There's literally no physical damage dealt to my team at all. All right, well, that was amusing, but I don't actually want to run 6 Vanguard, so I'm going to look to sell the Wukong here, and then look to find some other Chosen. So we're going to sell that. We go down to Vanguard 4, but we're able to get Warlord back in, which I think is better. And like I said, then I have the Thief's Club. I'm going to put this on Kindred because I think Kindred can make good use of it. Well, not this round. Kindred gets all defensive items. That's bad. But Kindred can be a good person to put a Thief's Club on because Kindred can make good use of AD items and also makes good use of AP items. Kindred does a pretty good mix of physical and magic damage. If you get physical damage, the auto attacks steal more. If you get magic damage, then the little hops where Kindred gets off a crit does more damage. So we've dropped down to Vanguard 4. We no longer have the Wukong Chosen, but this opens up the opportunity to find more Chosens. And once again, we're still winning these rounds. Like I said, I don't know how, but that's 12 in a row now. And I can look to go to 8 soon and look for another champion there. So here, look what I find here. I find a Mystic Yuumi, and that's kind of interesting. I also find a better Vanguard. I'm going to drop the Hecarim and play the Aatrox, who's just a stronger version of the same type of champion. But I do find something interesting. I find that Mystic Yuumi, and my initial thought was, no, let's not play the Yuumi. I think I can find something better at that. But, the longer I was sitting here thinking, I was like, you know what? I don't have Sharpshooter in. Teemo's literally being played just for Spirit. Would it be better to just pick up the Yuumi and play that over Teemo? And I still hold off on making the decision here. I was like, all right, I'll level to 8 because I want to put in Riven. That gets me Keeper and Dusk, so that's definitely worthwhile to do. I only dropped down to 38 gold, so I still have quite a bit of money in my back pocket. So I think that's unquestionably the right decision. And by the way, Zed's still hitting Vanguard's champs, still doing nothing. That poor Zed. So hard countered by my team comp here. But that Yuumi was still sitting there, and I was like, you know what? I think that's better than the Teemo. And it's not like I have to play this the whole game. I can just play this until I hit level 9 and then roll for something else. So I'm still thinking about this. I still have time, and I snap it up just before we go to the carousel. So I decide, you know what? I'm at 39 gold. This will drop me down to 30 gold. So I'm still not dropping below the next income breakpoint. And I think that Yumi is better than the Teemo. Like I said, TFT, playing what you get. Let's make use of this. Yeah, I don't have to marry this chosen. I only need to run it until I hit level 9, and then I'll find another chosen there. So off this carousel, by the way, we're down to just 6 players. We had another player you probably saw earlier just quit the game. The Zero Hun just quit the game at some point. So we're at 6 players, and that means this is going to be a shorter game. By the way, I do make 2-star Teemo here, which would have been nice, but again, we'll clear the Teemos, pick up another Jarvan, pick up another Aatrox, and then look to reposition here. So I have a lot of trait synergies, and there's a lot of defensive traits here. We've still got the Vanguard 4. That's 300 armor for all the Vanguard champs. So they're very tanky against physical damage. We've got Warlord that provides additional health to the Warlord champs. That's Garen and Jarvan and Xinjiao. And then we've got Mystic in too. So that's just purely coming from Yuumi. It's a Mystic chosen Yuumi. So Yuumi's providing the Mystic bonus completely on her own with no other help. So yeah, we're really tanky here, and it's very hard to kill my team comp. Now, we don't have a lot of damage, per se. I kind of reliant on Kindred, and I guess Xinjiao doing the damage, even though Xinjiao has no offensive items. But remember, he will keep ulting, and every time he ults, he gets that extra armor and MR, so he's very hard to kill, and as long as Kindred's still running around, you know, shooting off those crits every now and then. I mean, look at the damage down. It's all blue damage again. It might even be worthwhile going back, rewinding the video. I can't pause this while I'm recording it. I guess I could do some editing, but I always said I'm a little too lazy to do that. But like, if you go back and look at these damage charts, all the damage done to me is magic damage. It's not physical damage. Well, I went ahead and grabbed Kayn off that earlier carousel, but I decided to sell the Kayn and then just make Sunfire on Xinjiao. I figured I could look to find Kayn if I get back to level, if I can get to level 9, I can look to play Kayn there. And so, yeah, I'm just looking to go to level 9 here. I have 100 health. I have won 14 rounds in a row, so I'm very rich. And I would love it if I could win if I could make it through this round as well, so I could carry that winning streak through to the minion round. Unfortunately, Katarina gets off a really good ult, and remember, we're not tanky against magic damage, only physical damage. Well, I guess we're somewhat tanky. We do have the Mystic trade in, but we're a lot less tanky against magic damage. So I thought I was going to lose this when Cat got off that fight, but it looks like, again, we have just barely enough, and we're able to survive. And that carries the win streak all the way through the first 3 stages, stage 2 and stage 3 and stage 4. So at this point, I've like got my hands on my head. I'm like, what is going on here? How have I win streaked through 15 rounds? I'm like deliberately playing a meme comp here because I'm just trying to get TFT pass XP, and somehow this turns into a 15-round winning streak. What the heck is going on? So I'm still kind of at a loss to explain that. I think a lot of people were playing we're playing comps that had mostly physical damage, and it just ended up being the right place at the right time. I guess I just made a lot of trait synergies too. So in any case, though, that's kind of where we end up here, and now I'm just looking to level to 9 as quickly as possible. I am confident that I'm going to lose my win streak relatively soon. Someone is going to break this win streak, but I mean, the damage has been done for the rest of the lobby. I'm so rich that I can easily push to 9 here, look to find a legendary chosen at level 9 or something along those lines, and then just build a comp full of legendaries because I'm super duper rich. I'm struggling here to figure out which items I want to build. In the end, I go ahead and make Zeke's Herald, and then I'll make Rageblade with the other item. I don't know if that was the most ideal way to use those items, but ultimately I thought it made sense. I'm going to put the Rageblade on Yuumi, which is pretty hilarious, but the reason why it's on Yuumi is because she's going to be sold. She is going to be sold for hopefully a legendary chosen at level 9, so I know she's not going to stay in the comp, so I can just toss this on her. But it is kind of hilarious to see Yuumi auto-attacking really, really fast. And I made the Zeeks and just put that on Xinjiao for the extra attack speed. So can we kill this Eve? Remember, we are not as tanky against magic damage. I was like, all right, well, we're going to lose here. But then, nope, turns out the Kindred's going to get off another crit. And so we win that round again. 16-match winning streak here for the unbeatable Vanguard 4 team comp. Just so strong. I guess as they say, the best offense is a good defense. Well, normally people say the reverse of that. The best defense is a good offense. Or we could say defense wins championships. I don't know. But in any case, we are really tanky, and I'm already halfway to level 9, and nobody else is on a winning streak here, and people are about to get knocked out. So even though I keep expecting to lose, I keep not actually losing these rounds. And in some ways, it's kind of an indictment of the other players. Like, why weren't they able to come up with a stronger team comp that could beat mine? I don't know. This time, though, there is a Shen who's got a Bramble Vest, and that's going to be pretty tricky to get through. And this person also has a Yone, so that's also going to be problematic because Yone, remember, will cut through people's armor and magic resistances. So it turns out in this game, no, we're not going to be able to win. Finally lose a round. So I was expecting that to happen for a very long time. Also, for whatever reason, I haven't seen that Vanguard comp too much either. And that may be partly due to the RNG of people getting knocked out of the lobby. I think I have been lucky to avoid the Vagar magic damage comp for the most part. But I do have the Mystic in, and that's probably helping there. So I lost that round. Finally had the win streak come to an end, so I'm no longer getting like 13 gold per round or something crazy like that from having the long win streak. But I just need a couple more rounds. I'm probably going to go to level 9 after the carousel here, sell the Yumi, and look to find something else. I have good odds to find a legendary chosen at 9. And then we'll just move into a legendary comp. We'll start replacing some of these Vanguard champs. But so they won't be able to carry me completely across the finish line, but they're the ones who will get me into the late game, and that's what matters. This is the comp we've seen a number of different times, the Zed comp. Good Zed items, by the way. It's just been stymied by the Vanguard over and over and over again. But now this person's made it to Zed 3-star, and the Zed 3-star is a lot stronger. So, by the way, Xinjiao still killing a couple units there at the end, but not enough to stop Zed 3-star. And that's not really a surprise, given that I'm not going to be as strong as that. Well, now we're down to the next carousel. There's only 5 players left. One thing that happens when someone is AFK and another person quits the game is the game ends up getting shorter. That's one of the things that happens, and it makes sense because with fewer players in the lobby, there's going to be, more people taking damage every round. So the match is just going to be shorter. It's like in a normal lobby, there's 800 total health, but if you go down to 6 players, there's only 600 total health. So the match is going to end at a shorter date. So anyway, most of the stuff I wanted was taken off that carousel. So I ended for the Ionic Spark. And now we're going to go ahead and sell the Yumi. Yumi was great, but it's time to take her out. And now I need to roll for a new Chosen. By the way, we finally make 2-star Vayne. I'm just including her in case I am going to play Sharpshooter. And then I find that Chosen. I find a Brawler set Chosen. I was like, well, looks like I know what we're playing here, so we'll toss that in, and then we'll look to itemize the set a little bit. I also am going to toss in the Yone, similar names. I'm going to put these items that I had left over on the set. Are these really the best items? Probably not. The Ionic Spark's not bad, and the Rage Blade is pretty bad on him, though. Rage Blade should probably be on someone else, just because Set doesn't auto-attack enough to make good use of it. But the Ionic Spark is not awful. It does make him tankier. It gives him a little bit of extra spell power, so his crits will hit, or his dunks will be a little bit stronger. But these are not great items, and in fact, one of the weaknesses here at the end of the game is I didn't use my items very well. But I'm still in the process of transitioning. You guys know I'm not the fastest at doing this. Trying to get these legendary units in. So we're going to take out the Jarvan and replace with the Zir. And then I'm going to reroll. And by the way, the video freezes a little bit here. Unfortunately, the recording just had some problems. And I can't fix that because this is pre-recorded footage. So I'm in the process of selling some of my units. I sold the Garen and replaced with Cassiopeia. Now I'm trying to get the Lilia in, and that gets me up to Dusk 4. I'm going to put the Thief's Glove on. I'm going to put the Thief's Glove on the Yone because Yone can make use of a lot of these items. And I move the Locket over to the Aatrox. It's not ideal, but we'll make use of it there. Note that I still have the Xinjiao in. I'm keeping the Xinjiao because I'm really close to 3-starring it. If I can 3-star the Xinjiao, I'll be pretty happy with this. And then, sorry, unfortunately, once again, the video freezes here. We can knock this player out if we win, though. And even though there's 1 unit left, there's a very tanky Shen there. I'm pretty confident that we can finish that off. So we are able to knock out this player, and that guarantees a top 4 finish. So, hey, pretty good stuff. So now we pick up another Zeke's Herald, and that'll be a nice item as well. I'm still in the process of trying to move my team comp around so I can make better use of this. I have to position for the Locket. I have to position for the Keeper units. I want to make sure that I'm getting benefit out of these traits. And I'm still not quite there. Still a little bit wonky. Also, I have to deal with the fact that Yone can't stand next to anybody because he's in exile and he doesn't like being friends with other people. But yeah, looking pretty good thus far. I still think that the ideal play is probably to sell the Xinjiao, but I'm still hoping to 3-star that. I only need 2 more Xinjiaos. Also had a chance to maybe find a Nico's help there, although I didn't get it. But mostly I'm rolling for legendaries. Like there's the Yone. Oh, I also should mention I kind of did want to play the. There's another Xinjiao, by the way, so we'll pick that up. I kind of did want to play the Jin, but like every time I wanted to play Jin, I would find a legendary unit and then have to sell something to fit it in, like just on my bench because I didn't have enough slots for these units. I can sell the set because I already have the extra sets. Now I want to get I got a 2-star Zillion. I was like, well, I have to play that. What do I play it over? And ultimately, I decided it has to be the Aatrox. I already have Vanguard 2 from the Xinjiao with the, what does he have? He's got the Vanguard spatula. And then I also have Vanguard from Thrash who's in there for Dusk 4. So ultimately, I go ahead and take that out. The Zillion is kind of hilariously up on the front lines, which is not ideal. And this team comp has the 3-star Pike and also has the Eve. So it's not clear I have enough left. I'm hoping that maybe the set can get off a big dunk, but unfortunately he's not going to get a chance to heal. Still, if he can dunk someone, maybe we can win this, but oh, he dies just before he gets the dunk off. So come up a little bit short on that one. And by the way, there's more Jins. Like I said, I really did want to have the Jin in this team comp, but just couldn't quite manage to get the Jin in there, unfortunately. But we'll take the locket off. I'll end up putting it on set because he's a frontliner. Again, weird set items, not ideal. Like I said, my item usage was not perfect, but we're going to hit the 2-star Yone. That's a big, big hit there. And now I'm going to look to move Azir so I get better keeper bonus. I also still have the Zeeks here, and I find 2 Kanes, so I wanted to grab that as well. I do want to make sure this Zeeks gets used, so I'm going to toss this on someone. I think I tossed it on the Lily. I was going to try to toss it on the Azir. I actually misclick and put it on Lilia. Not terrible, though. For this team comp, the big thing is Yone gets off an ult right at the start of the fight, and that's going to shred all the armor and magic resistance of the other team. And that allows the rest of the team to get into the back lines. Set got off a pretty good dunk before he goes for push-up time over there on the left-hand side. And so this is going to be enough to win this Ghost round, even though that's a Vanguard comp that we're not especially suited to deal with. I did lock there to try to find another Azir. So again, you can see just standard late game stuff moving into legendary units. I've still got the 8 Xinjiaos. I'm still hoping that I can make the 3-star unit. Would be really, really fun if I can do that. And I go ahead and move, even though Thresh is kind of weirdly positioned, I move the Azir because I want him to get the Zeke's bonus. I'm also trying to find another spot for the Yone. Haven't quite found a spot that I want yet. And don't look now, but there's only 2 players in this game left. I mentioned it was going to be a shorter game because we had the AFK player and the person who quit the lobby. So it's just me and the comp I beat last round, and I'm feeling reasonably confident here. This person's level 8. They don't look like they're going to hit 3-star Vagar anytime soon. Their Vagar does not have a blue buff either, which is really important. That means the Vagar casts much less often than if he'd been able to find a blue buff for that. So right now I need Set to get off a big dunk. And he does, and we're able to win this. Like I said, if the Vagar had better itemization, we'd be in, that might be a tougher round. The Vagar hits really hard and heals for a lot with the double gun blades, but just doesn't cast that often because Vagar has no tier items. So we've got one more carousel here. Again, I was kind of hoping that there'd just be a Xinjiao on the carousel to make Xinjiao 3-star. There isn't, and there wasn't really much I wanted there. So ultimately, just grab the rapid fire cannon. And I make Kane 2-star. I'll put the rapid fire cannon. I think I end up putting it on the Azir just because he can make good use of attack speed. And I'm going to roll, and there's another Lilia. And at this point, I was like, all right, well, we probably only have 1 round in the game left, so I will reluctantly sell the Xinjiaos, and that will allow me to put Kane in. I'm just going to move these items over to Kane. They're not especially good Kane items, but whatever. And then I'm going to roll with the time I have left. And I'm just looking to see if I can 2-star anything else. We do manage to 2-star the Cassiopeia. So, yeah, so we end up with a pretty strong setup here. We've got the chosen set. We've got 2-star Yone. We have 2-star Lilia. And we've got 2-star Zillion. So we've got a lot of 2-star legendary units here. Oh, we have 2-star Kane. Now, he hasn't transformed and he has weird items, but it is still a 2-star Kane. So we're able to cut through this comp without too much difficulty. And like most of my comp, about half of my comp is still up, and we're going to be able to defeat this player, and that's it. It's a pretty easy first place finish for this team comp. I still don't understand what happened in this game. Is Vanguard actually like better than people think? Is like running a lot of Vanguard champs for the early game good? I don't think so. I think it's maybe better than people give it credit for. And yeah, here's the traits I was highlighting. So 200 pass XP, mission reward for running Vanguard 6 in a match. So yeah, I don't think it's as good. I don't think it's like some undiscovered hidden thing that people are not aware of, but it was good in this game, and it ended up giving me enough econ so that I could just push to 9 and run legendary units and win from there. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was a weird game. I had fun playing. Hope that this was a fun one to watch. Until next time, take care. See you guys soon. Have a good one.